Welcome to the family with
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
Hackmaster Ralph W. Basham, MD.
And Andy Brant Bernard.
There's nothing wrong with your lighting. Your lighting looks good now. Did you
It
change
was
it?
so bright it was blinding.
Oh.
Yeah, they couldn't do that.
Yeah, they're very
mine.
strong.
I turned one light off in here. It looked like I was in a bar.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Depending on where you sit in the studio, you can look very odd.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the latest?
The latest is Pride and Prejudice is like 12 years old now.
What?
Jane Austen's
212?
very
No.
200 and some years old.
No.
Yes, it is.
There is no way.
I just saw it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 1813. Is that old?
1913. It took a little.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that old.
What an odd anniversary to mention or celebrate.
The 212th anniversary.
Well, it popped up on my feed for some strange reason. It's not like I read a lot of Jane Austen or even those novels at that time, but that was a very significant book because it was about a woman. First of all, in that day and age, you didn't really get a lot of literature about female issues. It was, it's a significant event, I think.
No doubt about it. No.
Closer to your mic is what I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, she does it all
I'm
the
trying
time.
to
Typical.
I'm trying to do something at the same time.
She's hard at work.
Oh,
I want to get your take on something here. We were just talking about this. We kind of closed the show out talking about states, and I literally, there's some people go, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. Like Josh Arnold does not like Martha's Vineyard because there's nothing to do. I mean, Martha's Vineyard is one of the most spectacular places I've ever. Well, there's not a lot to do, but it's beautiful.
No, it's not like you could spend a month on Martha's Vineyard unless you had your own house with a helicopter like the Obamas.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, I mean, when you think about it, I gotta tell you, and I told him on the first show this morning that every place I've ever been, I've really liked. There may be things about it I don't like, but I like the place anyway. I mean, I've been in most of the states now. I think I've only not been in about 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. But I don't know. Do you find places that you'd never return to?
I mean, there's a lot that I have no real interest in going to. Mississippi would be up there.
Right up there.
It's hot. It's humid. There's a whole lot of mosquitoes. I mean, what's there for me? Nothing.
I tell you what, though, the Gulf Coast down in Mississippi is beautiful. Biloxi is gorgeous.
Yeah, but I got West Palm Beach for that.
Okay, well,
The coast, yeah.
Yeah, Africa's not on my list. Too many parasites.
Oh God, yeah. You have to
Guinea
get all
worms.
sorts of shots
Yeah,
and stuff just to go there.
And even then, you can't get rid of all of them.
Nope, no, you can't.
we jump from the United States to the world now. There you go.
Well, a place I wouldn't go back to.
No, as far as states go, I mean, I don't think there's any state that like you couldn't pay me to go to, but there's a lot of states that I would never go to. Like, I don't know, Nebraska's another one. It's like, what's in Nebraska?
Corn.
Lincoln,
A lot
Omaha.
of corn.
I don't really care
Corn.
about either of them that much.
The western side of Nebraska actually has foothills
It
and
does,
some
beautiful.
rivers and things. I guess
Very
it's very
nice.
pretty.
Yeah, well, actually, a goodly portion of Nebraska, the central part of Nebraska, is the Platte River, North Platte River, and that river is one of the main flyways for bird migration. So if you're a birder or a hunter, that's the place to go. The only bird you cannot hunt, well, I think one of the birds you cannot hunt here, but you can hunt in every other state, is the sandhill crane.
They have sandhill cranes?
Yeah, they have huge number.
I think they're in
Thousands
almost
migrate
every
through there.
state.
Are they?
Yeah.
Huh. I never
They're
saw
almost-
one until I was like 20 in
They're
West
al-
Palm Beach.
They're almost tame down
really?
here.
Yeah, down there, they'll just walk around the streets not giving a crap that you're there. They'll walk right by you and just like, it's like a squirrel that's on a college campus. It's just like humans are just part of life.
Yeah.
There's an area up near, I don't know if it's Brainerd, on the way to the Harms cabin. There's a park that there's a lot of sandhill cranes that nest in there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of cool birds.
Yeah,
Is
Minnesota.
Kostaki on?
I don't
I
know
see
if he
him
is
in
or
the
not.
chat.
Yes, he
Ah,
is.
there
Oh,
he
he
on.
is there. Okay.
Sorry. I didn't want to sit in there for days
Hello.
hearing about birds.
Who you chatting with, Kostaki, in the chat room?
I wasn't on yet. I flip a switch. Boom. Show business.
Not yet.
Let's go.
Okay, we'll run it by you, Kostaki. Is it I was just talking about on the morning show today that I have never been to a state there was something I didn't like about it. In other words, I don't like going there, blah blah. Every state I've ever been in, there's something I really enjoyed. There are beautiful parts of it. Like I said, Mississippi was brought up, but you go to Biloxi. Biloxi is a beautiful, beautiful area right there on the Gulf Coast. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree. Biloxi, Alabama got screwed on coastline, but their coastline that they do have is nice.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Those
absolutely.
2 little strips down there between Florida and Louisiana.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I agree, Tom. I've been to all the states, and there's little chunks of all of them that are great.
Have you been to Alaska?
Yeah, I did some comedy in Alaska.
Oh.
I've done comedy in all 50 states, actually.
Huh. Interesting.
Ooh.
Hawaii
very
took me a
impressive.
while to check off. That one took a while to get there, find a gig.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not a ton of land there. Not a lot of space for comedy clubs.
And now they have so many Asian tourists that there are fewer English-speaking, things than there used to be.
Yeah, they've always Japanese people have always gone there in droves.
Right.
I don't really know why.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they've got
true.
Okinawa right there, so it's like I don't know.
One of the reasons in Hawaii they'd be leaving the mainland to get married, because the responsibilities of being married in Japan can be much greater. The social responsibilities you actually end up hiring guests that dance and will have a presence at the reception to talk to people and just make it a great party. Starters, if you like. But in Hawaii, you do that. You just go there, get married, 2 or 3 people. So we saw that when we were in Tahiti once. There was a couple that were getting married who were Japanese. Lindsay and Ashley witnessed the marriage because they just happened to be there. And they were just a very simple kind of ceremony. They got married. They didn't have those responsibilities.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Very cool.
Infotainment. Nice job. sir.
So you elope to Hawaii instead of Vegas.
That's right.
Catherine, remember
Hawaii
the first time
to me is one of life's only things that has all the hype and totally lives up to it. It's
Yeah.
as good as advertised. The
Yeah.
climate
It's
is
beautiful.
amazing, and it's just
So
beautiful. And I
Yeah,
love Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii and the South Seas, they have this sort of a fragrance that is so sensual. It's just an unbelievable place with all the flowers. Something's blooming all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
Hawaii will ever live in our hearts after
Barn burning
getting
zone.
there and finding out our barn burned down.
That's what I associate it with.
That's
Barn
Last
fires.
time I've been there.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Although the first time we were there, an interesting happened. It was like in a 30-story hotel tower where we stayed.
Yeah, right on Waikiki.
Right on Waikiki. And we get on, and there's a Japanese family on there. And this is not some shot. I'm just telling you it did happen. That the father in the Japanese family asked me for a favor because he couldn't reach the 30th floor button. It was like, remember that? I had to push the button for him because he couldn't reach it. I was
They're
like,
very small people.
I
these
was
guys
trying
are-
to guess what you were going to say. That totally surprised me.
I mean, they would get in the elevator, and I was like, I should have just had a spear and a shield because I was the Amazon of all
Nice.
time. They were
Oh,
just
yeah.
looking at me like, "What the hell is that woman?
Yep.
What is she? She's just so."
That's
huge."
funny.
Yeah.
Greeks are a little
Left
shorter
Palm
than
Beach.
Americans too. I noticed that right away.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
as a teenager, walking through the Athens airport, I was the head above most of the people in there.
Huh, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Oh, walking around Manhattan, I'm very tall.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Teensy
places
people.
on Earth where 5'8" is like huge. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So what else is going on in the world? Anything good going on, Kostaki?
Oh well, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're happy. If you're an Eagles fan, you're happy. These
True.
are
The rest of the world's mad about it, but
the rest of the world is
whatever.
It's like the election. Like these are the two. All right.
That's always how it is. Is there a team out there where like everyone would be happy if they won?
Well, I here's my pitch. But everyone, this is a generalization, but I think America broadly would love a Bills Lions Super Bowl. They're both teams that have never won.
Right.
They're from blue collar places with hardcore
Yeah.
fan bases who've been hanging in there forever. I think we should have an undercard game for the People's Super Bowl, right, at 2
Yeah.
p.m.
Right.
We have the Super Bowl everyone wanted to watch. I think that would be fun.
It would be called the Rust Bowl
The Rust
because both those towns are the
not
Rust
as
Bowl.
super as
Yeah.
it used to be, but hey,
Yeah, right. At this point,
don't
the
know.
Chiefs have beaten every part of the Buffalo. It's they're,
That is true.
they're respectful of their prey. Buffalo hasn't been this disappointed since, well, pretty much every year for the last, it's this whole poor team.
Oh.
The Supreme Court is going to decide now if Patrick Mahomes can legally own Josh Allen. Oh, it's so
That's a good line. I like that.
Mahomes following in Brady's footsteps. Just don't nudge your wife to take jujitsu. That's you want to avoid that. Otherwise,
Catherine's got a what on her
I
face?
don't know what this means. Sorry. You're
Brady's
joking over
wife
my head.
famously landed with the jujitsu instructor.
Oh,
I did not know that.
I'm not sure if the end of the marriage came before the jujitsu connection.
Well, she had more money than he did anyway, so she didn't.
Yeah,
need him.
that's right. That's right. Can you imagine someone who makes more money than Tom Brady? I know. By a lot?
Incredible.
By a lot.
By a lot. Good for her. So the Chiefs are off to another Super Bowl. Mahomes, get a driver for your dad. Have Butker's wife make everyone sandwiches. And let's start a GoFundMe for Taylor Swift Super Bowl ticket. Hopefully she can
Oh
make it.
my God, I'm sick of her. When are they going to stop with the Taylor Swift thing? It's
I feel like Taylor Swift is the Paris Hilton of today.
yeah,
Yeah.
kinda
Remember
is.
how
Yep.
sickening she was?
One
She was
day, everyone will just
everywhere.
get sick of her, and you'll never hear her name again.
And
Yep.
Kim Kardashian was just ridiculously in our faces for.
But
God, a
Paris Hilton was
decade.
just famous for being famous.
Yeah.
Taylor's at least an
Yeah.
incredible artist,
Yeah, but
My daughter
enough's
sort of brought me
enough.
around on her. I've watched a couple of the documentaries. Like, she's likable. I like her. But
Oh, she is likable
yes,
and good.
Yeah.
Good.
I understand the overexposure and all the Chiefs and all the ads and all the
Yeah,
right
yeah.
skibbly bobbly doo and all their insurance ads and everything. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for everybody. If you made as much money as Taylor Swift at her age, would you have disappeared years ago?
I don't know. She's got to ride that wave, man.
It is a great question. I'm half Greek and half Southern. I would have said goodbye years ago. I'm like, I'm bred to be lazy. Like, I got enough money to live on. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
But I get it. I mean, these kinds of people who wind up with this much money are driven by the craft that they're in. They're not driven by the money anymore. They're a different cut of folk,
That's true.
Economics 101. Economics 101. You never have enough money. Individuals will never have enough money. And that's why they try to get more and more and more and more. It's an odd thing, but that's exactly what's in Economics 101 in college. I remember that to this day.
It's like when you give your dog a giant dinner, and then you start eating dinner, and it comes over and begs. It's like, I know your stomach is full. Why are you begging? It's in
Andy,
its nature.
Andy, I need your help with something. Craig Road Jr., what happened to your call-in line? What's wrong with our call-in line?
There is nothing wrong with our call-in line.
Craig, do you have the number, Andy?
952-600-2575, or you can go to chatsy.com/Tom Bernard Show if that would be easier.
So 952.
Yes.
What is it? I'm asking you to give us the number
Do it
again.
again. Slower.
Jesus.
Slower for the people in the back.
952-600-2575.
I enjoyed that very much. 952? Yes.
Yes.
Keep going.
What do you mean, yes? Craig Road Jr. wants to call in, so he wanted to know what happened to the line. Let's go. Now, because I brought this up in the morning show. I would like a lot more people to call into this show and that show because I love talking to listeners on the air. It's wonderful. So yes, Craig Road Jr., call in. We'd love to talk. to
Yeah.
you.
And according to Andy, it's user error, Craig. Get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
When you type in 2577, I was going to say 76, but we actually own that number too.
Yeah, you can't say 76. But in any case, no, I don't know, because he wanted to call into the morning show and he couldn't get through apparently, which I don't know why that would be. But we'll have to get that.
I don't know. I mean, unless they did cancel the lines or something.
Why would they do that?
Because we're switching systems over in a week.
Oh, I got a tip off.
Mhm.
I think pretty sure that I paid that phone bill, so And if you are going to cut it off, why don't you ask me, should I cut it off or do you want to take it over? Craig, call in now to make sure that we can get your phone calls. That's what. Jesus, how is this even? Mom, would you
I'm
call
gonna-
the line?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it. Don't worry.
Oh, you're going to call it right now? Okay.
Yep.
I don't understand it. I just don't get it.
You don't need to
That's
worry
all I
about
have
it.
to say. I do need to worry about it because I love talking to listeners on the air. That's all I'm saying.
Ringy, ringy, it's working.
It is working. So you can see it ringing?
Yep. There's
Okay,
nothing
good.
to be upset about.
Okay, then again, Craig, so call in whenever you want. We love talking to listeners, no question about it. But I did find out something also, I'd say to kind of slide back into it, that Josh Arnold is the first person I've ever talked to, and I talked to him on the morning show this morning, doesn't like Martha's Vineyard because there's nothing to do. It's like one of the most beautiful areas in the world, I thought, didn't you?
I did, but like I said, it's a small island. A lot of it's privately owned, so
Yeah,
you can't go there. There's a
Right.
small
Yeah,
little,
you're right.
everywhere where the ferries come in. No, two places where the ferries
Yeah,
come in
right.
are very small. There's not a lot to do there.
Well, that's the whole idea, isn't it? There's not
Yeah,
a
I
lot to
think
do
so,
there.
yeah.
I guess.
Fancy.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
fancy. We drove all the way. I mean, you felt like you were in Scotland. It was so remote, and there were no trees, and it was windy, and all of that stuff.
Yep.
And we had some of the best lobster rolls.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do a lot of there's lobster catches over there and stuff. But yeah, it's not for action-packed vacation time. No, absolutely.
Right.
No, I suppose not, but for resting up. It was one. Well, your friends came down and stayed with us when we were in Nantucket, and it was just a great time.
Yeah, and we tried to hike. We found a hiking trail, and
Yeah.
it basically was going like through the North Woods where you just were bombarded by bugs
Yes.
and brush. So I was like, okay, no hiking in Martha's Vineyard.
Man, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
In any case, we were just talking about different things with different people about. The Super Bowl, of course, is a week from Sunday.
Already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a week from Sunday is the Super Bowl. Was it February 9th, I think it is. Is it the actual
Yep.
date? You got any favorite in that one, Kostaki?
I don't know how you bet against the Chiefs at this point. I mean,
I know.
we may not like them because they win a lot, but they win a lot because they're good. Their
Yep.
coach is good. Their quarterback is good. Their defense is good. Their schemes are good. They have a knack for pulling off the big moment. And I mean, I think they're 1.5 point favorites, 2.5, somewhere in that universe.
Oh, okay.
They're a good
Where's
team.
this- Where's the Super Bowl?
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yep.
Okay. And are you going, Kostaki?
I'm not this year, but next year it's in LA, and so it's right near my home, kind of. So I'm kind of saving up my chits and gonna go next year.
Okay, I got a question for you, all of you, and this is very true. I got my fingers crossed because it's in New Orleans that somebody's not going to set a bomb off in the streets because that's New Orleans lately. They blow cars up and they do all kinds of stuff. I mean,
They do?
you think? Oh God, yes, that guy. Well, what was he? What are those things called? Those
Oh, the
hideous.
no, you're thinking of the parade, or was it a parade?
Cybertruck?
No, it was a Cybertruck that blew up in front of the Trump
Cybertruck.
That was the
There it
Trump Tower.
A
That,
little bit of in Vegas.
thought
That was a little
that
Yeah.
was
bit.
Vegas.
the New Orleans
Vegas.
thing, I think, was a guy ran over a bunch of people in a
Yeah.
truck.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Right.
a truck. That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, so many catastrophes. I got them confused.
Put up
Unfortunately.
some bollards.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. We liked, and again, if you're going to go to New Orleans for the very first time, Uncle Kostaki will tell you, stay on the strip and do not wander more than 1 block off the strip.
Yeah,
Don't
New
do
Orleans
it.
has quietly been a little bit of a rough town always.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went there a bunch of times when I was young because I lived in Atlanta. It was drivable. You could just make a weekend of it and go over there and go bananas for a couple days. But yeah, it's definitely it's a little fringy.
It's a little fringy. Yeah.
It's a little rough around the edges.
Well,
But
like the
man, there's no
Simpsons
place
said-
like it. It's its own thing. It's such a cool city.
Like the Simpsons said, if you want to go to hell, then you ought to take a trip to the Sodom and Gomorrah of the Mississippi. Almost
That's good
pirates,
writing.
drunks, and whores, New Orleans. That be overpriced souvenir stores, New Orleans.
Wow.
Oh,
But
it gets worse. It's not a
It gets worse than that.
stinky, rotten, vomiting, vile New Orleans, stupid, brackish, maggoty, foul. Yeah. It just keeps going. Yeah, that's so whoever wrote that song, I don't think liked New Orleans very much.
Doesn't seem
No.
like it.
Probably didn't work for the Chamber of Commerce. No.
No.
We didn't go to Mrs. What was that? Mrs. Pat's? What was the name of that restaurant? It was,
Oh,
it was
God,
either
I
Mama
don't
Pat's or Mrs. Pat's, something like that.
Yeah.
Really
Yes.
Oh, some of those restaurants are so good.
good. They are. I loved New
Touche.
Orleans, but I didn't wander.
me too.
So that was good.
Yeah, we weren't out at 3 a.m.
No,
Yeah.
very, very true. So
I
we have.
I like drinking. I like beignets. I like breasts. It's a fun place.
There you go.
All the three
Absolutely.
things you like.
The only thing I did find out after paying attention for a while, because I went, I gotta pay all the cop shows, whether it's Cops or On Patrol or any of those.
Yeah.
About once a month, there's one in New Orleans
Yeah.
of all the cop shows.
I think it's a bit like the Super Bowl. It rotates
Yeah.
between that and Las Vegas, and LA.
Oh, yeah.
They sort of rotate.
They do.
Yeah. In the old days, they were in Miami a lot, another party town.
Yeah.
I think they
Dade
should
County.
return to doing some of these cold weather places. They tried it once. They did New York for one of them. I like that idea because that's where the playoffs are anyway. It
Yes,
feels like
right.
football to me, but
That's
I get
very
it.
True.
the tourists with money want to go to a nice warm place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to shell out how much money for a Super Bowl ticket? You don't want to be sidelined by not being able to get there because of a blizzard.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had one in Minneapolis. I went to
Exactly.
that one.
We did.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was hideously cold.
That one totally by accident. I had no idea. It was just a dumb mistake. I ended up staying in the hotel where the Eagles were staying. And when
God.
I walked into the hotel, I was stopped by a fully uniformed soldier holding a machine gun. And he had to say my name into his shoulder and get it cleared before he let me pass to go into the hotel.
Really?
Did you
Yeah.
have 30 seconds to comply?
It's a little scary. And
Yeah.
it was also hilarious to see a soldier crinkle his face when I told him what my name was. He was like, all right, say it again.
Can you spell that? Oh, that didn't help any.
Say it into his shoulder.
It's like one of those memory tests. Halfway through, I lost track.
Yeah, close enough. No problem.
The Eagles
But
won
yes.
that game, so maybe it'll happen again. We'll see.
So basically, you got Minnesota's the only team left that hasn't won a Super Bowl.
No, the Falcons. My Falcons never have. The
That's right.
Lions never have. The Bills. There's
That's
a bunch of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I want to say there's more. I forget. It's a pretty
Bengals?
big number.
The Bengals won?
I think the Bengals have been there, but not won. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think the Browns have been there, and not
Brown.
won.
Browns,
Okay.
Lions, Texans, Jaguars.
Oh, the two expansion
There's
teams.
actually a
of course.
whole bunch of them.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of them. Yeah.
Vikings, Bills, Falcons, Titans, Chargers.
Titans. Yeah,
Yeah, so there's
Very
been a lot of them.
we're in pretty good company, Tom.
Minnesota Vikings are number one for people who've been there but never won.
There you
Tied with
go.
the Bills, of course.
The Bills. Yeah.
And let's not forget, they lost all 4 Super Bowls in the same decade, the 70s. So
Right.
there you go. Thank
And then the
God.
Bills did the same thing in the 90s.
Yep. Oh, that was painful.
The Eagles are an interesting. They're an interesting team to me because I don't know. Like Philly's kind of known for high-minded and low-minded at the same time. It's kind of a funny, city and fan base. Like think of Philadelphia citizen Ben Franklin, right? It's such a powerful, eloquent voice and early democracy. And he also made his own beer and died of syphilis. That's very Philly.
Very
Two
good.
sides.
It's the full range. And the coaches are good reps for their cities, I think. Sirianni, in Philly is like this handsome Italian, but he's a little skeevy. Like you might go to him to get cocaine or, place a bet on something. And Andy Reid is perfect for the Midwest, like a nice guy built like a walrus. Let's grill out,
Yep. Yep.
It's funny how and then we got the kind of the food rivalry, right? We got cheesesteaks and barbecue. Those are classic football foods.
God, I love that stuff. Honestly, God. Now you just gave me some horrible memories about the 70s. Thank you. Now I'm focused in on getting our ass kicked constantly. But other than that, don't worry about me.
Other than that, we got a new coach down in your Florida neck of the woods. Liam Cohen is the coach of the Jaguars. His name sounds like half a law firm to me. Doesn't it?
That's true. Liam Cohen and Brandon Berg.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. Here's power rankings of football coach names that don't sound like football coach names. All right, you ready? My top 5. Leslie Frazier.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a football coach name.
No.
Bum Phillips.
That totally sounds like a football coach.
Yeah,
Lovey Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Lovey. Wow.
Lovey is a football
Lovey.
coach. Liam Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 for me, football coach names that don't sound like football coach names. Jim Bob Cooter.
No.
Who the hell is that? I don't even know who that is.
He was the coordinator for the Lions, and he's been bouncing
Oh.
around the NFL for years.
Oh,
man, he is. With a name like Jim Bob Cooter, I was expecting a guy born in 1780, but no, he's my age,
he is?
Is that right?
1984.
Well, where's Jim Bob from? It's not his fault.
Let's see, Upper East Side of Manhattan.
What?
No,
What?
no, Tennessee.
Jim Bob up in Manhattan. Yeah, absolutely.
Mean
was-
parents, man.
Ironic hipster name.
Yeah, exactly.
We hate this kid. We want his life to suck.
Name him Jim Bob. Why not? He'll stand out. That's for sure.
Sounds like a character in Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, we got a new coach in Vegas. The Raiders got a new coach.
Yeah, an old coach.
We, as if you're a
That's a
Las
70
Vegas
as-
native now.
As in 73-year-old Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I saw Pete Carroll got a job again. He's a good guy, actually.
Oh, great guy. I hope he can do the job. So
I asked him a question at a Super Bowl one time. I asked him about Gatorade colors. He goes, I can't answer anything about gambling. I was like, oh, all right. Take it easy, Pete.
I don't know that that's gambling necessarily, but you know.
That's always one of the prop bets. You could bet on the color of Gatorade poured on a coach's head. It's just
man.
hilarious to me.
You can bet on literally anything, can't you?
Yeah, you can for sure.
Where did that tradition come from? Did Gatorade pay? Is that like a PR stunt? What was why?
Not
did they do
initially.
that?
I believe it was the Giants. I think it was. I think they did it with. I'm blanking on his name. I think
Jim
it was
Hurt?
legit. I think it was a legit, like, earnest celebration once, and then it caught
according
on.
to Wikipedia, Jim Burt dumped a cooler of Gatorade on his head coach Bill Parcells
Parcells, yeah.
in 1984, and that was the first time it ever happened.
Oh, really?
So there you go.
The players
I
loved
guess-
Parcells, but he was also like this hard ass. So I think it was just like a crazy celebration after the game,
Oh, yeah.
and everyone was laughing and smiling, and it just caught on. I think it's a funny
Okay.
tradition.
It is a funny tradition.
how many prop bets are there?
Oh, there's no number. That's an unlimited number.
Yeah.
So if you go up and say, I'd like to bet on this, they'll take the money, take the bet.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, years ago, I worked at Ladbrokes in England. It's like an off-track betting shop.
Sure.
And in that situation, they would get you a number on anything. You could come in and bet, like, will aliens land on Earth during this calendar year? They'll call the office and get a number for you.
How many
I'm
birds
not
are gonna
sure
fly by?
how it works at American sports books, but you could certainly go online and find all kinds of obscure, crazy prop bets. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
a lot
never
of
been a
people.
gambler. Is that weird? I've never been a gambler.
I haven't either.
I just don't care for it.
It just doesn't work for me.
I mean, I've
I
done
find that if I bet more than like $20, I get angry at the outcome. Then
it. Yes.
Yeah.
then I'm mad if something dumb happens. But if I just have a little bit, just enough to kind of be interested, like, oh,
Yeah.
if this guy gets more than 75 yards and the other guy throws for more than 250, I win $70, you know. I like that kind of betting, just a little bit, little fantasy implications, you know. The Super Bowl bets are fun because there's a bunch of like, you could pick ones that keep you interested, even if the game's a blowout, you know, like,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
you know, prop bets that run till the end of the game are fun. You can bet on the last team to score and the jersey number of the final touchdown, odd or even. I mean, you can find stuff like that so that you're kind of compelled to pay attention, even if it's not a close game. I like that kind of stuff. But
We should have Ethan make a bunch of picks.
Yeah, get your son to make a bunch of picks,
Have a
Andy.
3-year-old make a bunch of picks and see what happens.
that's funny.
One thing, Kostaki, honest to God, and for Hackmaster as well. When you call, well, actually, when Catherine calls Andy now, the entire conversation has Ethan commenting on the conversation in the background. Andy's son is talking about their conversation to Andy while he's talking to who's ever on the phone.
Yep.
Anybody that's ever had a toddler knows that toddlers find phone conversations to be very annoying
Yes,
because
they
their
hate
parents
them.
are not paying attention to them.
They absolutely hate them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And it
Some
won't
of
be
the
long
worst
before
be-
it turns and they mimic them. They'll find something that's their phone and they'll
Yeah.
talk into it.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
they already do that. Or
Yeah.
he already does that.
Yeah. When your attention is elsewhere, they don't like it.
Ethan has learned how to get into my emergency contacts and call Melissa.
Oh, God, he didn't.
Oh,
You're
my.
kidding me.
It's an emergency contact, so you don't need to unlock the phone. 'Cause it's like, you know.
God,
So yeah,
how did he
can do
know
that.
that?
And the reason he does that is so he can play these audio emojis. They're called. They're just basically little sound effects. And of course, there's a fart one. So all he does is just hammer on that. And it's funny every single time.
At 3 years old.
Yep.
Smash.
You got to
the
put
fart
Tom's
button.
number in there so you can get a
Yeah.
call
Yeah,
in the middle of
thanks.
the
Well,
night.
one time Melissa left her phone unlocked on the couch, so he got it, somehow called her dad, and then just started hammering on the fart button over and over. So her dad answers, he's like, "Hello," and then all of a sudden you hear this fart sound effect, and he's like,
Fart.
"Oh, it's Ethan."
He knows it's him.
Well, it's not the first time he's done this.
Andy, now it's been a while. Is he
Oh,
getting
kids.
bigger?
Not really.
Oh, that's
No,
because
it's
he
really-
was
they kinda stopped for a
gigantic
while.
there for a while.
He
And
had
it-
an
like-
enormous growth spurt when he was 2. Like
Yeah.
he turned 2 and he grew like 8 inches in 2 months.
he
And
did.
he hasn't really grown since.
That's a good
they
thing.
Slowed down for a
Well,
while.
he's still, I mean, he's still wearing 4 T's and he's barely 3. So it's like he could stand to not grow for another year and he'd still be average. So
Yeah.
we're not too worried about him not growing.
No.
I love the fact he calls Bop Bop on part 2 over there and does nothing but fart noises.
Yep.
How does he know that? Does he have that good a sense of humor?
I mean,
Or he
Oh,
just
I
likes
think
to
depends
make
on your
trouble?
definition of sense of humor, I suppose.
Well, I suppose that's true too. Yeah. Good point.
Toddler humor is basically
Just
very
start-
visceral.
Yeah, it sure
Yes.
is.
You should start doing that to all your friends. See if they laugh.
Sending him audio emojis, cackling in the background.
It's all true. Kostaki, you going to the Super Bowl this year?
No, I'm going to be running around West Virginia and Ohio telling football jokes to celebrate the week, and then I'll race home,
right.
fly home all day, and try to get home in time for kickoff.
What time?
But
what
I'm
is
going
the
to try to go
kickoff?
next year.
Oh, you
It's
are.
6:30 Eastern, so it'll be my 3:30.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. So we'll be at 5:30 then.
Yeah.
There you have it. Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't hold anything against Kansas City for being so good. I'm sorry. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put out the best team every year, and
Yeah,
Kansas
they're
City
good.
does a great job of that.
Yep. They're good. You can't deny it. Yep. I think they're a fun team. I think they're likable. I think Mahomes is great. And Andy Reid's great. Their offense is fun to watch. Their defense is good. But I understand people get malaise. Like enough of these guys, you know.
I
Yeah.
felt that way about the Patriots for a while. I was like, I don't even
Yeah.
watch football, and I'm still sick of them being at the Super Bowl.
I learned to hate the Patriots for
Right.
exactly that reason. Right.
Sam, are you going to the
I don't
Super
know.
Bowl?
Oh yeah, I got my tickets already.
Good.
You driving there right now?
Yeah, I'm in the car.
I
I'm just
know you
waiting
are.
for I'm waiting for gas to get under $3 a gallon. Although that might be cheap for this area. Who knows what it's like down in Nolens right now? No, I'm with Andy. I'm kind of like, you get tired of it. It's just
Yeah.
boring. I really wanted the Bills to get in there so they could lose and take the onus off the Vikings for the
Yeah.
most losses without,
Yep.
Yeah.
that really would have been the big benefit. But yeah, I mean, I've been saying anyway. I was thinking, oh my God, Detroit easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the Minnesota Vikings of the
Yep.
divisional playoffs,
Yep.
as the Bills are the Minnesota Vikings of the AFC.
It's true. You can't even deny it. I mean, but the
Yep.
Vikings' last two games, they were so horrible.
Oh,
They were terrible those last two.
painful to watch.
Whoops, we
Oh.
just lost Timmy.
He
We
pressed
sure
the
did.
wrong
I think he
button.
pressed the wrong button and he just disappeared. So Kostaki, I
Yeah.
want to know your take on this whole deal.
There he is.
There
Yeah,
we go.
just messing with my phone here.
Don't press the
So
red button.
okay, I'll keep it away. So to me, it's just kind of boring at this point. But how many teams have not won a Super Bowl? Is it down to 10 or
You
something? I
did
mean,
this.
what is it?
Yeah.
I did the list. I think it was like 8-ish, something like
Yeah.
that.
8 or 9 or so.
How embarrassing. Well, the thing I was thinking about, well, what if the Lions get in it? Then the Vikings would be the only one in the Central Division that didn't
Yep.
win one. That would
Mm,
really put the pressure on.
Yeah.
But that's a Minnesota thing. Oh, we'll get there next year.
Can't
Yeah.
close it.
Yeah, it's
I
always
tell you
next
how
year.
much confidence I had. I didn't even bother watching either the last game of the season or the Lions game. I was just kind of following along on NFL.com.
Right.
You're not seeing it, but you can see the score, you can see what plays are made, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just little confidence. I just didn't have any confidence they were going to do anything. It's
Well,
sad, but it's true.
it's been about 13 years since I stopped drinking, so I will tell you this: I haven't watched a Super Bowl whole lot in the last 13 years because you got to drink alcohol or it's not fun to watch. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. But back to your point about Mahomes. I mean, he's a likable guy. I mean, you're not rooting against him.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, if you're great, you're great. Tom Brady was great. But
Yep.
but I was thinking about this, Kostaki, driving in here. Dan Quinn, wasn't he the coach of the Falcons?
Yeah.
And now he was the coach of the Commanders.
Yeah.
That guy can't catch a break either, can he?
Well, he'll be fine. He's got a great quarterback now, and they're going to have a nice new chapter. So I'm happy for the long suffering Redskins / Commander fan base. I'm glad they've turned it around and got rid of their owner. The Cowboys are praying for the same thing, right?
To get rid of their owner?
Yeah, I
Really?
think so.
Really?
Yeah, Jerry's made so many bad decisions in a row.
Well, that's true.
Well, how long has it been since they've won anything?
30
long time.
years. Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
America's team.
That's yeah, right. It always bothered me that on the back of the helmet of the Cowboys, it had number 1. It's like, you bastards.
Really?
Are you doing that on purpose? Yeah.
You bastards.
Yeah.
That's kind of negative.
Yeah.
Drew Pearson. That's all I can say. Drew effing Pearson shoving Nate Wright. That's all I can say.
I remember it. Was that where they threw the whiskey bottle at him or whatever it was from the stands?
Well, at the what the hell is his name? Armand something. The referee got hit in the head with an empty whiskey bottle.
That's right.
My brother-in-law was at the game, and whoever threw it was from the back of him, and he remembers seeing that thing whizzing
Really?
toward the official and hitting him in the head. Yeah.
Throw
Yeah.
an empty whiskey bottle at a referee. What the hell are you doing?
Armand Tumazian or something like that. What the hell was
Vermazian,
his
yeah.
name?
I think
Yeah,
you're
something
close.
like that.
Yeah.
So
See, that's
enough to-
the blessing. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they can make him an honorary Eagles fan just for that action.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the blessing and the curse of having a good memory. We don't have any good memories as the Vikings fans. We only have the bad ones.
Yeah.
That's true. Unfortunately, it's
Jesus.
true.
Just like remembering when Nate Wright fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line against the Raiders when the Vikings blocked Ray Guy, like the only team to ever block a punt by Ray Guy. How do I remember this crap? It's stuck
Because
in there.
vicious.
It's burning in my memory. And I'm
You're
not
still
even a
pissed off.
sports guy. I'm not a sports reporter. I'm entertainment. And it's still burned in there.
So basically, what you're saying is we're kind of happy that it's been 44 years since the Vikings were even involved in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I can remember. For a while there, I got so pissed off that I bought a Green Bay Packers sweatshirt.
Did you really? Now, wait a minute. Was the last one 77? So it's been literally about what? Almost 50 years since they even went to a Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We've gotten to the championship game and got humiliated a few times.
Yeah. Boy, I tell
After
you.
the Denny Green take a knee at the end of the game one where, again, was it Nate Anderson? Gary Anderson missed the
Hey, that's
chip shot.
Falcons. That's the Falcons game.
There you go. Yeah, that was like the last time I think we were actually competitive in a championship game.
Oh,
Yeah.
why?
I could go on all day. This misery just trails behind me.
Yeah.
The
like
Vikings were the better
shadow.
team that day. That was a really good team. That was Randy Moss's first or second year, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I
And
think it was
Chris
his
Carter.
first.
That team was
And
really
Randall
good.
Cunningham.
And the Falcons
Yeah.
fluked into a win and went and got their asses kicked by John Elway. That's what happened.
Yes, indeed. I do remember that. No question.
Yeah, Falcons have two Super Bowl appearances. The John Elway's peak and Tom Brady's peak. Is that fair? That's not fair?
That's right. Very good
No.
point.
If I can remember correctly, I don't know if the Broncos had won a Super Bowl by that point, but at one point they were 0-4 like us. So, we're not the only team to suffer that horrible fate. But then they won a
Right.
couple with Elway. But right now, it's us and the Bills that are tied for the most losses.
But I would much rather have a team that's fun to root for during the season, some of the time, and losing in the Super Bowl than be one of these perennial like Jaguars fans or Browns or something where they're just terrible always. That's way worse, right?
Yes.
I think the worst thing really, the Lions were so dominant. That really would have sucked to be a fan of the Lions this year. There's no reason. I had them steamrolling in. I just don't understand how they're cursed. Right. They're just a cursed franchise like the Vikings. They've won NFL championships, but before the Super Bowl.
Right.
So nobody really even looks at that, though.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
There's that one fan that they found last year that his first game he ever went to was the championship game. And the Lions won it. And he was 18 years old. And he thought, well, this is fun. And he bought season tickets. And he's had them the whole arc of them being terrible for 55 years.
Poor guy.
Tommy, tell him about the Vikings guy with the beard.
The Vikings guy with
grew up. Yeah.
Oh, that poor.
beard.
Oh, God. This guy, that was in the 1970s. I think it was either just before or just after the fourth loss in the Super Bowl. He said, I am going to grow a beard, and I'm not going to shave it until the Vikings win the Super Bowl. And they showed a picture of him literally just the day he died. His beard was touching the floor. And I'm not exaggerating. You saw the picture, right, Tim?
No, I've heard
you never
tell
saw
the
it?
story. No. And that guy could do a comb over with his beard.
Honest to
that.
God, his beard was like 5 feet long because it had been growing for like 40 years.
Ish.
Whoops.
I don't take the Vikings that seriously.
No,
They
no.
lose. I'm pissed for a day, and I try to move on. Again, it's always burned in here, but
You try to move on. You just reference like 8 different moments.
that's what I mean. It's just these memories, they're just burned in, and you
The
guys,
last
we get in here,
50
we're
years.
talking about but think about that. Before the Chiefs started their big ass run, they won over the Vikings, right? And I think that was that was their last trip to the Super Bowl. So they went decades being, at least they won it, but they went decades without even appearing. So now
Right.
that they're there, it's like they're mowing everybody down. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
again, I
yeah,
like
I mean,
Mahomes.
Yeah, that's a fan base that's earned it. They've been there rooting for this crummy team for many years, and now they're dominant, and that's fine. I'm good with that.
One thing I'm tired of though is this whole Travis Kelsey, Taylor Swift. I swear to
yeah.
God, that's part of the reason why the fix was in to get the Chiefs in, because they
Oh,
knew if Taylor, with just those brief shots every now and then, they're going to get all the Swifties tuning in,
Yep.
and that's
yep.
going to jack up the numbers. They
100%.
probably upped the numbers on the advertising because they knew Swifty would be there. That's what I'm thinking.
Was
So
she
You
a-
got to get a Vikings player to date somebody famous.
yeah, that would be good.
Let me
Was
think
she a
about
football
that.
fan before, or is
I doubt it.
No,
she
no,
wasn't?
not at
Oh,
all.
so she's
No.
a fair weather football fan. Huh?
Yeah.
I was trying to think about that. Would there ever have been a Viking that dated somebody like that? I don't think so.
I mean, she's one of a kind, but it's
Yeah, that's true.
But some high profile somebody, I forget who it was. I'd love to give credit because I wish I wrote this joke, but somebody said, I wish Taylor Swift would date a climate scientist.
That's not likely.
There was it Jessica Simpson, I think, dated Tony Romo at one time. And then
That's
once
right.
he started dating her, fans were calling her Yoko Romo.
Nice.
Cursed him.
That's a pretty
Nice.
good call. I like that.
That's good writing. That's good writing. I enjoy it.
Yes.
That is good writing. But again, those are happy memories that become happy football memories that are embedded in here.
Oh, thank God.
Yoko Romo. That is great, man. Well, it didn't last. It didn't last.
No, I suppose not. What do you think this other one's going to last? This Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey thing? Is that?
I can't. It's been like 3 years now. I can't believe it's
has
lasted
been.
this long.
Yeah. Most of the time, she dates somebody for a couple months, breaks up, writes a nasty song about him, and moves
Yeah.
on.
Oh, really?
I
Does she do
expected a
that?
whole
Really?
new album
yeah.
about Kelsey. by
Yeah,
now.
that's her thing. That's
Right.
her thing. She writes songs about her breakups with all her boyfriends.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's earthy and real. She says it like it is, and she's
Oh,
emotional.
the,
It seems like a weird pair to me because he seems like such a jock. Like
the chat
I don't
room
know.
has a good point about Taylor Swift dating a climate scientist. She uses a private jet too much. It would never work.
Yeah, that's
Oh, very good. Very good
one,
point.
other Andy.
Good one, other Andy. Yeah, the other Andy.
That's what he calls himself.
He calls himself the other Andy. That's right.
I've been yakking here. I see Ralph. How you doing, Ralph? It's been a while
Very
since
good.
I've seen you.
Oh, I know, Tim. You're
Yeah.
such a busy guy. Big shot now. Well, you can't you're big shot writing.
Well, I'm just very, very lucky. You got to remember, I've been doing this for 30-some years, so something was bound to happen sooner or later. I
That's
guess.
right.
But it's fun. It's fun. I love it. So, yeah. But I love, like I say, I love NFL football just as much, and just again, and now I'm resigned to the fact that the Vikings suck, and just that
Again.
Well,
It's an
that's
again.
it's an
professional
indisputable
football
fact at that point.
is just entertainment. And what defines entertainment for people? Because people that are chronically fans of teams that really do not win or always have losing seasons or are never in the Super Bowl, it's an interesting group. Or what's your definition of entertainment? Certainly, winning is not a key part of entertainment for those people.
Well,
Yeah, I suppose that
there's
is
no
true,
question.
yes.
It was fun to watch the Vikings this year. It was a lot of
It
fun.
was. I agree.
But you knew at some point it was going to end. You just know that
Mm-hmm.
this is too good to be true. And then it was the Lions, right? They played the Lions the last game, where it's like, why even bother? It just kind of. I'm beginning to wonder. I think this Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, but is he one of these that he's too nice? Do you think? Because Dan Campbell just seems like he'd be. I don't know. I think the players respect him. I don't know enough about the team, but he's such of a hard ass, such
Right.
of a rough and tumble guy what do you need to push your players to that next level? I don't know. I'm not doubting Kevin O'Connell. I think he's great, but he just seems like too nice of a guy. Sometimes you need a
understand that.
Ditka. You need a Ditka or something, So I don't know.
God, well, I just say the last time I saw Mike Ditka, Catherine and I were down in Chicago having dinner. Where were we having? Where was that place we were going? I can't
never
remember.
know the name.
Did
of
you go to
restaurants.
Dickens? He had a restaurant.
Yeah, he had his own restaurant, but he got up to go to the men's room. That boy can barely walk. It's really sad to watch it. I mean, he cannot
Well,
even move.
Used to be a tight end, right, with the
Yep.
Bears.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it made me very sad to see him. I think it was at Harry Carey's restaurant, come to think of it. Harry Carey had a restaurant, and I think that's where it was. And he got up, and it took him about, and I'm not exaggerating, 20 minutes to go to the bathroom, pee, and then walk back to the table.
Right. Yeah.
It took forever.
I've seen that with a handful of the older stars and some of the media stuff I've been to. The one that struck me the most was the Oilers running back. What's his name?
Chuck Muncie.
No, Oilers. The big guy that would stiff arm everybody back in the day.
God, I can't think of it.
Well, Earl Campbell. Thank you.
Oh, Earl
Earl
Campbell.
Campbell,
He
yeah.
was phenomenal.
I knew that off of my memory.
Yes,
Good old
Andy.
Earl Campbell.
Andy knows all the football stuff.
I
There's
also
no
know what a
question
running
about
back is.
it. He knows what a running back is. That's right. Have you ever watched a full football game, Andy?
No,
Never in his
maybe when I
life.
was a really young kid, we used to have those like football parties in the barn.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
I probably like watched, in quotation marks, those
Right.
games.
Yeah, I suppose that's part of the deal, but what are you going to do? All right, any closing words from everyone?
Go Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of
Why
tough
not?
because it's like
Yeah.
they both have won, and
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Go football. Let's have a good game, everybody. Let's
Happy
eat
Super
some
Bowl,
wings.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday, because that's our next holiday.
That's true.
That's going to be our next holiday.
I'm surprised it's not a bank holiday at this point.
It will be
Hey,
One
the,
day.
Monday.
the commissioner this week actually said it out loud, the daydream of football fans everywhere, that it will be inevitable that they're going to add one more game, which means they will extend the season by a week, which means that Super Bowl Sunday will fall on the Sunday prior to President's Day.
What?
Oh, there
And
you
it's
go.
going to be a holiday the next day. So
Oh, God, there
it's
you
just
go.
a matter of time till it actually happens.
Yep.
what
So
would
they're
they
gonna
do? What they're going to keep the 3 preseason games in and just add one? Because isn't that how they cut into with adding the 17th game?
It sounds. This is my best guess from what I've read. They might cut one of the preseason games, add a bye week, add a game, so they'll extend the season by actually 2. They'll you eat one of
Yeah,
the
there you go.
preseason games, you extend by one more week. And then it also every team has 2 buys, then you can more readily handle international games when you're trying to go to Spain and Ireland and Australia and Germany and London.
That makes sense.
Greece.
I guess.
Greece hasn't been mentioned.
Oh,
So yeah, then they can theoretically put a bye before and or after a game in Australia, for instance. Could work for the teams that way. We'll see.
God. Is it going to end up they're going to play like 30 games every year? Is that how it's going to end up?
They'll just never
Just never end.
or when's the first international team? When's that going to
Yeah,
happen?
I'm surprised it
Exactly.
hasn't yet.
Yeah, it's a good
That's
point.
gonna happen. That's gonna happen. There's got to be a reason they're doing this. Yeah, they do. They want to expand the fan base, but then if you could get Europe rooting behind the London whatever,
right.
yeah, sure.
No.
I'm
I
sure it's
think-
possible.
Yeah.
If I got it my chance to put an NFL team in Europe, I'd definitely put it in Italy. No question. But can you imagine Italian fans watching a football game?
That'd
Philadelphia.
be fun. That'd be fun. I wish we could have a Mexican team and a Canadian team, but
Yeah, that'd
That's
be
true.
easy.
Yeah.
the
They're right
Canadians
there.
are so, they're so protective of their own football. I think that's why it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense to have a Toronto or a Montreal team,
But the
and a Mexican team, that would be like the go-to team for the whole central, everything south of us.
Yeah.
All right, that is going to do it, folks. Any goodbyes from anyone?
Go Eagles.
Goodbyes.
Go
Go
Eagles and take the
football.
Vikings with you.
Go guacamole.
So Kostaki, you're going to be on how many more times? One?
If you'll have me twice.
Twice. Okay.
If you'll
Because
have
we got
me.
2 weeks to the Super Bowl. So one
Right.
before and
Yes.
one after.
Okay, we'll get that scheduled.
Okay. Thanks, Andy. I'll talk to you.
Yep.
But the only thing that confused me about the whole
See you
thing,
guys.
Stock, is that check was supposed to bounce, but it didn't.
I actually
That is
sent it from my
confusing,
real
Tom.
account.
We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Got a picture in my noggin reminds me of the swallows before. Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talk in my door.